What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 69 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast on this Thursday, April 17th, 2025. I'm your host, Zach Malamud. Before we get started, please subscribe below. Follow all of my social accounts. Let's start things off in the world of baseball as both New York teams were in action this week. And let's start things off with the New York Yankees, who got a series sweep in an ALDS rematch over the Kansas City Royals. They win 4-1 on Monday, 4-2 on Tuesday, and they cap things off with the series sweep, a 4-3 win on Wednesday evening. And it came down to Aaron Judge in the bottom of the seventh, and he comes up big time for his team. He goes 3 for 3 on the day. He is batting .409 on the season, top 3 in the MLB in a load of categories, and he's been tremendous after last year when it was a bit of a slow start, and then he really got going and had a monster year. Now he starts very, very quickly this season, and even with the drought that he was going through of 10 home runs without or 10 games without a home run, he completely eliminates that yesterday and gets his 7th home run of the season to straightaway center. So, I mean, he's been tremendous so far for the New York Yankees. Of course, an MVP candidate early in the season. That's just what you expect from a guy like Aaron Judge, and he's been tremendous so far for the New York Yankees. They also got great contributions yesterday from Cody Bellinger and Anthony Volpe, two guys who have been really, really strong in the field so far this season. Volpe had a bit of a down year in the field a season ago and really has stepped up big time. His defensive WAR is one of the best in the American League, one of the best in baseball so far this season at shortstop. And Cody Bellinger, who played right field yesterday with Aaron Judge getting an off day in the field, ended up being the DH last night. Bellinger moves to right field and makes a spectacular catch to end the game after MJ Melendez swatted a ball to right and almost towards the corner. Cody Bellinger makes up a ton of ground, almost trips over himself, but still manages to make the catch, and the Yankees close that one out for a 4-3 win. Fernando Cruz gets his first career major league save, and Clark Schmidt, a guy who we were waiting for to come back, and he looked really strong in this one. Probably wanted those strikeout numbers to be a little bit more up. At 73 pitches, you get 5 2/3 out of Clark Schmidt, and only gives up 3 earned runs on 4 hits. Just the 4 hits, and yes, the 3 runs in the end, but he got into a bit of trouble, and he'll have to work on that. However, first start back, you're not expecting too much out of Schmidt. And like I said, he goes 5 2/3. That's exactly what the Yankees could have asked for in the final game of a 3-game set, and one that they were already up to nothing in the series. So really positive signs from the New York Yankees. And like I said, the 2-inning save by Fernando Cruz on 27 pitches, got a couple of strikeouts. The splitter looked real nasty yesterday, and I think that's going to be a pitch that the Yankees are going to want a lot of this season, especially when they can't have guys like Luke Weaver and Devin Williams out there. Both of those guys pitched the last 2 days before this series finale, so they were not going to be on the mound at all in this game yesterday. So Fernando Cruz gets the save. Great job by him, and the Yankees look real strong against a very tough opponent in the Kansas City Royals. They make it look easy and sweep the series against Kansas City on their home field. Now the Yankees get away from the cold weather for a little bit, and they head down to Tampa, back to their spring training field. However, they will be the away team at Steinbrenner Field down in Tampa Bay as they take on the Tampa Bay Rays in a 4-game set down in Tampa. And it all starts tonight, 7:05 start, as Will Warren will get the ball for the New York Yankees, and he'll take on Taj Bradley on the other side. Taj Bradley's been really strong so far this season, 2-0 with a 3.71 ERA, a 1.06 whip, 12 hits allowed, but the strikeout numbers are ridiculous. 21 strikeouts so far this season for Bradley. He's looked really good, and really, the Yankees have a tough one tonight. When you look at the bottom of their rotation, you got guys like Will Warren, and Carlos Carrasco, both going to get the ball at some point in this series. But even a guy in between them, Carlos Rodon, who's 1-3 on the year, has not looked good so far. And I would say he looked really good in the early parts of his outings. When you get the early pitches and the early innings, excuse me, he's looked very, very good. However, he's just one pitch away, two pitches away from having a really good start, but he lets up probably a long ball or just a game-changing hit to the opponent, and that's the difference in these starts for Carlos Rodon. He's got to clean that up and eliminate the long ball. It's one thing to allow singles and doubles. However, the long ball really changes the game. He's got to avoid that, and that's something that even Garrett Cole had to work on and get away from in recent years. That's just the difference between a good pitcher and a great pitcher in today's game, and Carlos Rodon really needs to pick that up, especially if he's going to be the second guy in the rotation for this Yankees team. Yes, you can go back and forth between Schmidt and Rodon, who's going to be the guy behind the true ace right now in Max Fried, who's been absolutely tremendous in 4 starts this season. But make sure you tune in later, and make sure you tune in all this weekend as the Yankees go down to Tampa. The 11-7 New York Yankees taking on the 8-10 Tampa Bay Rays. 7:05 start tonight. Warren versus Bradley down in Tampa. Let's move things to the other side of New York, and in Queens, or away from Queens, the Mets finally get home after a 6-game road trip. They won the series that I talked about on Monday's episode. Go check that out, as they beat the Athletics in a 3-game set, and the series finale in that one, an 8-0 win, looked really strong. Kodai Senga was tremendous in that game. Then you look at this series in Minnesota, and it's kind of one that the Mets are going to want to forget, as they went 5 for 28, a 179 average with runners in scoring position this series. They win the first game 5-1 on Monday, but then they lose back-to-back games for the first time this season. A 6-3 loss on Tuesday, and McGill gets the loss on the mound. And then yesterday, when the Mets mounted a comeback and they showed some resilience here, we're down 3-0, and they got things going with a nice rally in the middle of this one. But then it comes down to a 3-3 game in the 10th inning. In extras, the extra inning rule, runner on second in effect, and then Brandon Nimmo pops one up, and that one seals the deal. They ground into a double play actually before that with Jesse Winker, and then Brandon Nimmo pops one up, and the Mets get nothing in the top of the 10th, and that made it real easy, even with Reed Garrett, how good he's been, even with him coming in and being on the mound for the Mets. Ty France just a single to center field, and Tyrone Taylor can't handle it, and Byron Buxton comes in to score, and the Twins win this series 4-3, and they win the series overall 2-1. And this one is just a bad series again for the New York Mets, and one that they're going to have to figure out offensively. They're going to have bad games here and there. However, this is a Minnesota team that's really been struggling so far this season, and the Mets just did not look strong against a pitching staff that has looked abysmal so far this season up in Minnesota. So they're going to have to figure things out, and obviously it's been a rough one for the New York Mets in the last couple of days. They get a chance to bounce back, though. They come home for a 4-game set against the St. Louis Cardinals. Starting tonight, a 7-10 start at Citi Field. It's going to be Griffin Canning on the mound after he missed yesterday's start due to illness. Now he gets to start in tonight's game, 7-10, and he'll go up against Andre Pallante for the St. Louis Cardinals. And this one should be an interesting one. And in this game especially, you're looking for the Mets bats to wake up a little bit after this previous series. That's the big thing. Cardinals are letting up a lot of runs. Pitching staff has not been too good so far this year. However, a guy like Pallante has been good, 2-0 with a 2.20 ERA so far this season in 16 innings pitched. However, the rest of the staff kind of struggling, and the Cardinals are trying to figure that out. But they're 9-9 right now in the NL Central. Mets sitting at 11-7 in the NL East. And this one should be a great series, and especially the offense for the St. Louis Cardinals. They got some tough batters, and that could be the difference for the Cardinals tonight, especially against a guy like Griffin Canning that it could get a little shaky if he does not have his best stuff. So we'll see what happens. Make sure you tune in all series long, but it starts tonight, 7:10 at Citi Field. Pallante and Canning to go to battle. Just some quick news to finish off the baseball talk today, as both New York teams will be represented very well at the 2026 World Baseball Classic. News coming out in the last couple of days: the Yankees' Aaron Judge will be the captain of Team USA at the 26th World Baseball Classic. He did not play in 2023, if you remember, had just been named Yankee captain a couple of months before that, was really focused on the Yankee season. However, now he decides to go to the World Baseball Classic in 26. A big honor to be named the captain, and it's well-deserved for arguably the best hitter in baseball, and what a tremendous season he's had so far this year. He's proving why he got picked for such a high honor in 2026. On the other side, for the Mets, they had Francisco Lindor named captain once again for Team Puerto Rico at the 2026 WBC. Obviously, he was the captain in 2023 for Puerto Rico, and it's a big honor once again for him. He's been real strong as a contributor for the Mets in recent seasons. Off to a bit of a slow start this year. However, he'll figure things out. He's always known for starting slow, excuse me. He's been tremendous, though, for the Mets in the last couple of years, and obviously for the nation of Puerto Rico. So he'll represent them as well at the 2026 World Baseball Classic. Some really nice news for New York sports fans, and they'll get to see their guys lead their teams at the 2026 WBC. Let's finish things off today with a Knicks update, and the Knicks head into this series against the Detroit Pistons. Game 1 is on Saturday at 6 o'clock, and the Knicks will come into that game as 7.5-point favorites, total sitting at 220.5 at the Garden. And this one all comes down to whether the Knicks can handle the boards when it comes to a guy like Jalen Duren, and they could also guard well against a guy like Cade Cunningham, who's had the Knicks number so far this season. You remember in the regular season, Pistons won 3 of 4 against the New York Knicks. So the Knicks trying to really prove a point here as well and get past a tough opponent in the first round. I don't think this is going to be an easy series for New York, as like I said, Detroit's caused some trouble for the Knicks so far this regular season. OG Anunoby is a game-time decision right now. Isaiah Stewart is a game-time decision on the other side for Detroit. So we'll see what happens, but probably those guys will play. It is the playoffs, and the playoffs are here. A great time to be a Knicks fan, and it's back right now, and a lot of pressure is going to come later in the playoffs. However, enjoy the moment right now, Knicks fans, as the Knicks have made it to the playoffs for the 4th time in 5 seasons. So we'll see what happens, but make sure you tune in 6 o'clock on Saturday, and we'll recap it, talk about it on Monday's episode, and preview Game 2 between the Knicks and Pistons, and it's going to be a great series. So gear up for this one at the Garden, 6 o'clock on Saturday night. But that will do it for episode 69 of the MudWatch Sports Podcast. Please subscribe below. I've been Zach Malamuth. Thanks for watching, and talk to you all on Monday.